Tonight, you will lie awake for no reason. Your heart will race, your chest will tighten in your warm bed, and your mind will invent a dozen disasters that have not happened. But the real answer is far stranger than stress. Your anxiety is not a flaw. It is not a sign that you are broken. It is an inheritance, a survival tool carved into your nervous system over hundreds of thousands of years, designed to keep your ancestors alive when the night was full of real dangers. Do you know how old your worry is? Your brain evolved to protect you, not to make you happy. For most of human history, the humans who worried too little did not survive to become your ancestors. The ones who heard a rustle in the grass and assumed it was a predator lived, while the calm, carefree ones did not. You are descended from the worriers. About 300,000 years ago in Africa, early Homo sapiens lived where anxiety was accuracy. Your ancestors woke into uncertainty, where a shadow could be a lion and a bitter taste could mean poison. Their brains learned to treat uncertainty itself as a threat, so your brain copies them. To be clear, the everyday worry and false alarms described here are the system working as designed. That is not the same as an anxiety disorder, and understanding the system is not a substitute for care. The number comes from a site in Morocco called Jebel Irhoud, where miners uncovered skulls in 1961. For decades, they were thought to be much younger. Then in 2017, scientists applied thermoluminescence to heated flints found with the bones, and the date jumped back to roughly 300,000 years ago. At least 5 individuals were recovered, pushing our species' origin back by about 100,000 years. Those early humans were not confined to one valley. Their remains turn up across the continent, at Florisbad in South Africa, and Homo kibish in Ethiopia, a species spreading across a vast wild continent. This is the people who needed the alarm. This is the lineage that handed it to you. One precision matters. The 300,000-year figure is the age of our species, Homo sapiens. The anxiety circuitry itself is older, shared with animals that predate us. But you have been running it for 300,000 years. The center of this system is a small almond-shaped cluster called the amygdala. Think of it as a smoke detector. It shouts first, because on the savannah, a false alarm cost panic, while a missed alarm cost your life. If the hidden history inside your nervous system fascinates you, subscribing means you will get more deep dives like this every week. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux mapped this circuit and found fear does not travel through your rational brain first. It takes a shortcut from your senses to your amygdala before your conscious mind knows what you saw. Psychiatrist Randolph Nesse argued anxiety is not a disease. A fever is not a disease. A fever fights infection. Anxiety fights uncertainty. Both uncomfortable, both protective. Your panic is not proof you are failing. It is proof your defense system is working too well. That system was tuned by relentless selection. Imagine 2 ancestors at dusk. One hears a branch snap and thinks it is wind, so he keeps gathering. The other freezes, heart pounding, muscles ready to run. 9 times out of 10 it is wind. But the 10th time it is a leopard. And only the anxious one lives to have children. This is the smoke detector principle Nesse used to explain your bias toward false alarms. A detector that beeps at burnt toast is annoying. One that stays silent in a real fire is deadly. Evolution made your alarm oversensitive on purpose. It would rather startle you 100 times by nothing than miss the one moment that matters. Your ancestors did not just fear predators, they feared exile. One person could not find food, keep fire, or survive the night. So your brain evolved social anxiety, a monitor whispering, "Are you accepted? Will the group keep you?" That is why a text left unread can feel like physical pain, and why your stomach drops when you think you said the wrong thing. Your brain uses the same circuitry that once scanned for tribal rejection to scan for rejection by friends and coworkers. To that ancient alarm, the sting of judgment can feel like the threat of abandonment, because exile once meant death. Is it any wonder you care so much what strangers think? A baboon's stress spikes to outrun a predator, then shuts off. Yours can stay on for hours while you replay a conversation, flooding your body with the same hormones. Cortisol, the hormone that once helped your ancestors sprint and fight, now soaks your blood while you sit still staring at a screen. Your heart races for muscles you do not use. Your breathing quickens for lungs that do not need the air. Your digestion shuts down for an escape you never make, and that is why anxiety lives in your gut as much as your head. Here is the twist. Anxiety did not just keep your ancestors alive. It made them smarter. Anxiety is imagination in its oldest form. When you worry, you run mental simulations, building futures. Those who imagined failure most vividly were the ones who planned, stored food, and avoided the river where someone drowned. Psychologists call this prospection, living in the future before it arrives. Your brain rehearsing tomorrow today. The price is that you spend your life somewhere that does not exist yet. Do you see how your greatest strength and heaviest burden are the same system? In the modern world, that system has nowhere to go. For 300,000 years, anxious energy ended in action. You saw the predator, you ran, you fought, you climbed, and the hormones burned away through movement. Today you see a scary headline. Your amygdala fires, but you do not run. You sit and scroll. Your ancestors faced sharp, short threats and long calm. You face no lions, but 1,000 threats. An email, a bill, a notification, a comparison. Each too small to flee, but together they keep your alarm ringing. Your brain was built for famine and predators, not endless alerts and perfect photographs. This is why anxiety spikes at night. By day, your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, is loud enough to argue with your amygdala. It says that shadow is not a lion. That message is not Exile. At night, the lights go out, and your rational brain quiets. The ancient smoke detector gets the last word. You stare at the ceiling not because the problems are bigger in the dark, but because your ancient brain finally has room to speak. As noted earlier, everyday worry is not the same as a disorder, which affects 301 million people, with only about 1 in 4 receiving treatment. You were never meant to carry this alone. Ancestral anxiety was calmed by touch, firelight, and voices breathing together. Anthropologists describe how hunter-gatherers often calm together through presence, touch, and song. Your brain expects a heartbeat nearby at night. Is it any surprise loneliness now feels like danger? But here is the final reframe. Your anxiety is not weakness. It is biological loyalty. It is protecting you with the only tool evolution gave it, a tool that worked for 300,000 years. It would rather you be anxious and alive. You cannot delete this system. You would not want to. Without it, you would never prepare, never care, never love fiercely enough to fear loss. You can teach your ancient alarm what is safe now, through breath signaling your body the lion has passed, and through connection telling your tribal brain you are not abandoned. So tonight you will lie awake for no reason. When your chest tightens in your safe, warm bed, remember this. It is not your brain breaking. It is your 300,000-year-old guardian keeping watch over you in the dark. You are the descendant of every ancestor whose alarm never once missed. The vigilant line did not end with them. It reached you.